our job is getting harder and harder. I just gave permission to hire yet another researcher this morning because we are just overwhelmed in stories that we don't know what the truth is. You should see my email, my private messages, and even my text messages from friends that I trust that are like, Glenn, I don't know if this is true. I don't know either. And I know you're in that situation, and we are going to go off the cliff if we can't verify some things. That's one reason I'm going to Asheville, North Carolina today. I need to know, is this stuff happening? Are there bodies, in Chimney Rock that are still there? What is happening on the ground? And we're bringing, a plane full of supplies for them through Mercury One. But we have to, this is what I said in the meeting today, we have got to come, and even if we don't talk about them, we have to find out, are these things true, so if they're true or not. And we'll do our best, but it takes so much time. We have so much going on. I think it was like a week ago or so. Do you remember the story that Arizona added 98,000 illegals?
I remember that being, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember
and
that
I
headline.
think we talked about it, right?
Yeah, I think we did at the time, and tried to give perspective. But, people don't understand. There's so much stuff for people to sort through right now.
If I remember the story right, it was hard to decipher. And it's, I think, why we didn't follow up on it at all, because we were like, I don't know what's right in this story.
Let's lock it down.
Well, good news. The head guy of the Arizona Supreme Court wrote to us. He's Justice Bolick. He joined the court in 2016. He previously co-founded the Institute for Justice and served as litigation director for the Goldwater Institute, so he's one of us. He litigated constitutional cases from coast to coast, including the U.S. Supreme Court. He is not the Supreme Court. He's a Supreme Court justice, but he's not the Chief Justice now in Arizona. But he says that story is wrong, and he'd be the guy that knows. Clint, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Glenn, and thanks for making the correction. My boss, the Chief Justice, would have drawn and quartered me.
This story was everywhere, and I don't remember what we said. We might have said that, yep, that's crazy, and the Supreme Court's out of control. I don't know what we said, but if we got it wrong, I apologize. So let's correct it. And correct all of the stories that were out there. What happened?
Well, Glenn, thank you so much for that. And, usually when a court issues a controversial decision, they know it. And so for a couple of days after, we did not consider this to be a controversial decision at all. But all of a sudden, we were hearing from people, and I was encountering people who were saying we were letting illegal immigrants vote. And I looked at the headlines that had come out, and I've got one on the screen in front of me from Newsweek that says Arizona court says nearly 100,000 people with unconfirmed citizenship can vote. And so I can well understand why people got that impression.
Yeah.
But the headline should have read, Arizona court prevents disenfranchisement of 100,000 people over computer error. And that's exactly what happened. So Arizona is one of the few states that requires proof of citizenship before someone votes. And when the law was passed, they assumed that people who had registered by 2005 were legal citizens. So they didn't require you to show proof of citizenship unless you moved to a different county or applied for a duplicate license. And due to a Department of Motor Vehicles glitch, and I know that's hard to believe.
Oh, no, it's hard to believe the government would do anything that had glitches in it.
So in any event, apparently a large number of people who were registered to vote and who had driver's licenses before 1996 and who moved or got duplicate licenses were never asked to prove their citizenship. Now, most of these people have been voting for decades. So there's no indication that any of them are illegal immigrants. But once this problem was discovered, the county recorder of Maricopa County went to court and said all of these people should be removed and required to prove their citizenship between now and the election. And of course, the same people who made the mistake would have been in charge of making sure that that those papers were shown by the election. And just imagine if we had gone to Election Day and thousands, possibly over 100,000 people who had been voting for decades were told, "Oh no, we don't know whether you're a citizen or not."
Right.
This is not, So in any event, it was a very easy legal issue for us, and it was the only election case, Glenn, that I can remember where the Arizona Republican Party and the ACLU were on the same side. They both said, "Please don't throw these people off the ballot." And we determined that we had no authority to take that many people off the ballot. You can challenge individual voters if you think that they are not citizens, and after the election, though, there will be an effort to verify citizenship. But most of these people would have had no idea what was going on, given that they voted without a problem for decades. So it was one of those stories that one of those cases that the headlines turned into a controversy, but it really wasn't a controversy at all.
So with an election coming up, and are you guys voted on as Supreme Court?
So yes, we are subject to retention every 6 years, and yours truly is one of those justices up for retention this year with a very spirited campaign against me from self-described progressive groups.
Great. Well, I mean, all you had to say, you had me at Goldwater Institute. So I'm for you, Clint. How confident are you that we can have a fair election this time in Arizona?
Well, I'm not on the ground. I'm not involved, in the day-to-day. And one of the things that I've been doing is encouraging people to volunteer as poll workers, and other jobs that take place on Election Day. The best place to be on Election Day if you have concerns about election integrity is on the inside. And I've been very heartened that both major political parties have really been encouraging volunteers to do that. And when I hear that sort of thing, it gives me confidence that that
at least that step has been taken.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Your pardon. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for clearing this up. I appreciate it. And if there's anybody who is on the right that has misunderstood this, which I think are probably a lot of people because it was everywhere. I apologize. I don't know exactly what we said, but let's just assume we were one of those who believed the headlines. Apology to our audience and to everybody in Arizona. I'm glad you reached out to us so we could set the record straight. Thank you,
Glenn. I am so glad that you gave me the opportunity. I'm sure it's not every day that a judge contacts you and says, "Hey, this is not correct." So,
I invite anyone, if we get something wrong, I am not afraid of correcting it and say we were wrong. So I appreciate that you reached out to us because we will correct it. We will correct it. Thanks, Clint.
Well, and I am so grateful for that. If everyone did that, we'd be in a much better place in our society right now.
Yeah, we would. We would. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Clint Bolick, he is Arizona Supreme Court Justice and apparently running for reaffirmment. And let me just say, Goldwater Institute. Okay. I don't think I need to say any more.